Hello and welcome. This is not a video about doing more. In fact, it's about doing less. Thinking less, worrying less, planning less. As a woman who has seen rock bottom, who knows burnout like a second skin, and felt exhaustion deep in her bones, I know you may not have the capacity to do more right now. We don't all have the same 24 hours in a day. That's just a rubbish concept based on immense privilege. Most women I know are knee-deep in responsibilities, work, care, emotional labour, carrying entire families on their backs, while their own dreams and hopes quietly disappear like the second sock in a child's drawer. I have been that woman, and I've learned something very important. When life has already taken everything from you, pushing harder is not the answer. With small, gentle steps, with far less effort than we're taught to believe, it is absolutely possible to move forward without burning yourself even further. In this video, I'll share what helped me, combining lived experience and science to show small realistic ways to move forward your goals, without asking more than you can give. If you want to reach your personal goals but your body is tired of surviving, you're in the right place. When you've been overwhelmed for a long time, your mind doesn't slow down. It actually does the opposite. It thinks more, plans more, worries more. For some of us, planning becomes a safety net. Perfectionism keeps us from getting hurt again, and sometimes we just freeze. Because we're tired in ways rest can't fix. So if you've been stuck for years, knowing what you want, planning it over and over, and still not moving, it's not a discipline problem, it's an overload problem. And once you see that, you don't have to push yourself anymore. You just have to work with yourself. After you've been overwhelmed for a long time, planning can start to feel like relief. The problem is, planning doesn't move you forward. It just gives your mind something solid to hold on to. Planning feels controlled, predictable. It helps you imagine a future without exposing yourself to it. And for women who live through chaos, abuse, constant pressure, that makes complete sense. The problem isn't planning itself. Planning can be useful. The problems come when planning quietly replaces living. When you spend years preparing, organizing, mapping things out, but never quite step into them. Because maybe you're exhausted, maybe you've been made to feel small, and you're afraid of shining again, or the goalpost is so far away that it overwhelms you. But the good news is, all that planning was never required. Over and over, research has proven that small actions over time bring results. Without perfection, without plans. As an example, let's look at weight loss and strength training, as it's one of the most common goals people have. Research shows that lifting weights just twice a week with no plan, no tracking, no timeline is enough to build strength, improve mood, reduce body fat all over, and support bone density, including the structure that helps the body and your face strong as we age. Even without dieting, even without optimization, without anything, without a single investment, just showing up at the gym twice a week, without anything. And that tells you something really important. Your body doesn't change because you planned better and have an optimized 6 months gym routine, a trainer, a Gymshark foot, and fully equipped gym. No. It changes because you showed up, even imperfectly, with a minimum amount of effort and time and mostly no planning. Perfectionism is where I've struggled for most of my life. It often disguises itself as standards, as care, as wanting to do things properly. But for many women, perfectionism isn't about excellence, it's about protection. You know, the thoughts that go in your head. If I do it perfectly, I won't be judged, I won't be criticized, I won't give anyone a reason to hurt me again. So you research, you watch another video, you save another post. You learn about actives, routines, sequences, morning, night, 10 steps, blah blah blah. And somehow, nothing ever actually starts. Or it starts for a week and then collapses under its own weight. Because perfectionism promises safety and delivers paralysis. But here's the part that matters. Science doesn't support complicated routines and doing things flawlessly. Let's look at skincare as an example. If you've ever tried to figure out how to layer 50 serums from the ordinary in one routine, you are in the right place, because so have I. Dermatology research consistently shows that simple skincare, done imperfectly but consistently, is more effective than complex routines that aren't maintained. A dental cleanser, a moisturizer, sun protection, and one active. Just one for your biggest concern, that's it. Not 10 steps, not constant product changes, not endless research. Skin doesn't improve because the routine is perfect, it improves because it's repeated. And the same is true for your life. You don't need the perfect method, you don't need to get it right. You need something simple enough that you actually keep doing it. Perfectionism tells you to wait. But science tells us something quieter. Progress happens when you stop trying to protect yourself behind perfectionism and start choosing what's sustainable instead. I will get back to you when I have perfected not being perfect. Lack of self-confidence is one of the most misunderstood struggles women have. It gets treated like a mindset issue, like a personality flaw, like something you're supposed to fix before you begin. Social media is littered with confidence advice for women. Sometimes well-meaning, sometimes predatory, and most of times overwhelming, but confidence doesn't disappear randomly. Whether your confidence has been eroded due to criticism based on abuse, or being burdened with responsibilities too young, or because you had a rough start in life, you may find it soothing to know that you don't need to break your back or your bank to gain confidence. Psychology has been very clear about this for decades. Confidence does not come before action, it comes after it. Research on self-efficacy shows that belief is built through small, survivable experiences, not affirmations, not motivation, not positive thinking. In other words, you don't believe yourself into action, you act yourself into belief. One small thing done and survived creates more confidence than months of wanting to feel ready. Coming back to our earlier example, gym. You don't need confidence to go to the gym. You need just a little bit of courage to go to the gym. Even for 10 minutes once a week, and confidence will come up as a byproduct. And lastly, when it comes to careers, going back to university, starting a new business or something in that category, fear of being cringe and judged is what actually stops a lot of women from starting things. They believe they're being watched, that people are paying attention, that mistakes will be noticed, that embarrassment will stick, and that people will talk. Psychology has studied this very directly. It's called the spotlight effect. In multiple studies, people were asked to do something awkward or noticeable, wear an embarrassing shirt, say something wrong, make a mistake, and then estimate how many people noticed. On average, people believed about 50 to 60% of others were paying attention. In reality, closer to 20% or fewer noticed, and most of them forgot almost immediately. In other words, we overestimate how much people notice us by 2 to 3 times. Because the human brain is self-focused by default. In reality, everyone is preoccupied with how they look, how they sound, whether they are failing. Most people are not watching you, they're watching themselves. So the belief that everyone will see, everyone will remember, everyone will judge, science says that belief is false. Most people won't notice, most people who do notice won't care, and almost all of them will forget. So if your nervous system is acting as if you're under a spotlight, please remember, there is no spotlight. You're responding to a threat that isn't actually present. And once you understand that factually, not emotionally, the fear loses its authority, making way for a wide variety of new possibilities and dreams to come through. Imagine the life that you could have. I hope that this was beneficial for you in however small way. I hope it made your life easier. I hope it gave you some kind of hope for the future. See you next time. Take care.